Let me just start by saying rest in peace Bray Wyatt. You were amazing and you will be missed. I'm not going to delay anymore. I'm going to just get straight into these AEW All In predictions. I was in two minds about doing these, especially since it's been a long week. But I thought this is in London. It's a London show, so I need to represent. So, let's get into the predictions. Okay, so we have the coffin match with Sting and Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland and the real TNT champion of Christian Cage. And I put this match first as I felt like it has the least importance of the matches that's going to be taking place at All In. And I'm going to be honest, I've had so much going on this month that I'm not up to date with neither AEW or WWE at this point. I've seen reviews, but I've not watched most of the shows. Also, these predictions were done before Rampage, so most matches that could be added at Rampage or at Collision, I will not be doing. So anything past the go-home show at Dynamite, I'm not going to be adding. So anyway, these predictions are going to be based off of common sense and vibes. So let's talk common sense. And as a quote-unquote champion, Christian shouldn't be losing. And in my opinion, Swerve needs a win more than anybody else in this match. And having said that, I do not think that Sting has lost the match at all. And bottom line, I don't think that he and Darby have lost the match together. So I think that that continues here. This is because it will give Darby momentum to a potential TNT title match, maybe an All Out or even a triple threat match with Swerve or a four-way including Luchasaurus. I don't know, just a thought, but I think for this reason, Sting and Darby for the win. Okay, so let's talk the trios match with the Golden Elite trio of Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi against the Bullet Club Gold's duo of Jay White and Juice Robinson along with Konosuke Takeshita. Why I feel like I messed up that name. I feel like I butchered it, even though I know how to say it. But anyway, this feud has been built of me not watching it for weeks. So I kind of don't know where it's come from. I saw that the feud with the BCC and then the FTR was beefing with the Bucks. And now that's kind of done. The rest of Elite are feuding with Bullet Club Gold. And then I don't know where it come from, but there's a lot to unpack from this, which I don't have time to. But remember, the Young Bucks, and they said that Kenny Omega does not have a good relationship with Jay White when Adam Cole, baby, brought him into the Elite fold when Kenny Omega was injured. It's only now that it seems like there's a bit of a payoff with that. And honestly, I don't know who takes the win, but I'll say the Elite take this. I feel like once again the heels need this more, but it just looks like the Elite are more higher up and just look like they're more likely to take the win. So I'm going to go off common sense again here, and I'm going to say that there could be things that I've missed, but because of everything that's gone on prior and the fact that Elite are so higher up in the pecking order, I feel like the Elite are going to take this one. Trios titles now with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the House of Black. And on a normal day, I'd say the House of Black easily. That's common sense talking, right? But this ain't a normal day, and I'm gonna make sense of House of Black losing. I believe all these guys have had 2 trios titles matches prior to this one with House of Black retaining, and I feel like it would be odd that they would give them 3 title matches and then not give them the belts, the Acclaimed. So when you factor in that Anthony Bowens said a few weeks ago that Billy Gunn deserves to have gold again, and they will do what they can so that he can win it. The fact that Billy Gunn said he was retired when he left his boots in the ring and then has now come back for this match. And also for a while, these belts have felt quite lackluster. So it really wouldn't surprise me if they did take the belts off House of Black at this point, even if it's only for sentimental reasons. So as much as I hate this, I am going to say that the Acclaimed will win the titles. Now for the obligatory women's match of Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker, Soraya and Toni Storm for the title. And this feels, again, kind of out of nowhere. Shida winning the title was a nice moment, and Britt, along with Shida, were feuding with the Outcasts. So this kind of makes sense. Just as Soraya having a title match in Britain makes sense. But I feel like Shida winning the title was just that, a nice moment. taking the title off Shida right now would suck. She's not had it for long, but I do think that's where we're heading. And everyone here has been a champion except for Soraya. You guys remember this clip? Or an all-British affair and Soraya wins. Either way, I reckon Soraya's going to win the title before the year is over. Yeah, go and check out the first ever wrestling list video that I put out. It's the 2023 prediction video where I said that Soraya would win the title, and I believe this is where it happens. They're in Britain. She is British. She's the only one here not to win a title, and she is still a star. So I think this is the time where they put the belt on her, since Jamie Hayter's injured, and they're in Britain, as I mentioned. So we'll see if I'm wrong, but I do believe this is where Soraya wins the belt. Okay, so this one confused me for many reasons, and it's the Stadium Stampede match. And I didn't think they'd do a Stadium Stampede, but it does make sense. We are going to be going to a massive stadium like Wembley, so it does make sense. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate who's going to be the mystery partner on each team. But I was so confused when I saw Sultana and Ortiz against Eddie Kingston. Now, firstly, I am glad that Proud and Powerful are together again and seemingly on the same page. And I know last time we saw Ortiz, he was beefing with Eddie. But it just seems strange that they're teaming with Moxley and, more importantly, Claudio and not Eddie. And it just feels like they were shoehorned into this match. Not necessarily at the last minute, but just shoehorned into this match. Nevertheless, I feel like this is a nailed-on win for the BCC. I feel like them and Santana and Ortiz are going to win because the BCC are usually pretty protected. But we'll see. But like I said, this should be a fun match. I do believe that the BCC are going to win this, and I do think that their team is going to get the dub. So let's go on to the next match. The AEW Tag Titles. FTR versus the Young Bucks. And honestly, I have no idea. If I'm being honest, besides their match against Bullet Club Gold, FTR feel like they haven't done much since they won the belts. So I wonder if they will lose them. FTR have aligned themselves with Punk as well. So this has heel turn, or at least fighting as heels, written all over it. Then FTR lose, and then them and Punk could potentially go for the trios belts, especially if the Acclaimed have them, because they are so beloved, the Acclaimed, and FTR currently have unfinished business with the Acclaimed, that they may go and fight them for the belts and be heels by default. So honestly, like I said before, it could go either way. I am unsure, but because of what I've just mentioned, I do feel like this is going to be the Young Bucks. Been quite a few title changes here that I've mentioned, but I do think this will be the Young Bucks. Chris Jericho versus Will Ospring. And it's funny, I almost missed this. So, bruv, I didn't know what matches were on the card, or all the matches that were on the card. So I got the matches from a website, and this match was not on the list. So I almost missed it. But this is one of the matches I knew was happening because I know about the segment on the Go Home show of Dynamite. So I knew it was happening. But I don't think there's any other matches I've missed, so we will see. Like I said, I'm not doing any more matches after Dynamite, so if there's any matches that have been added to the card from Rampage or from Collision, boy, you're going to have to check that out and do your own predictions. I ain't going to be doing those. But anyway, Jericho did not join Callis, and I believe there was a beatdown last week, and I believe Ospreay was a part of that. I can't remember. I may be wrong. I can't remember at this point, but this match is happening, and as much as I heard rumbles that people didn't want it to happen and they preferred Omega Ospreay 3, it should still be a good match. And if I'm being honest, it's a match that Ospreay needs more. Jericho doesn't really need the win. He's already goated. He's kind of bulletproof at this point. I think Ospreay can play off the win a bit more if he does get a dub. I mean, he's talking about potentially his contract expiring soon, in which case he would have a better or a higher ceiling if he does get this win, and he should get this win. And I believe that he will get this win. I believe that Jericho hopefully will put him over. This is the biggest crowd I believe Ospreay has performed for, and it's his home crowd, so he should be getting the dub here on home soil, and I believe he will. Let's get on to the next match. Now we have CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the real world's Championship. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but honestly, it just doesn't make sense to me to take this so-called title off of Punk. There's so much that could be done later on down the line with CM Punk versus MJF for a title unification match, which could play off their past and could even have it as a heel Punk versus a face MJF. I also feel like this could have had much more mileage if Punk hadn't already beaten him in the Owen Hart tournament, but I digress. Although I've heard people say that they reckon it could be a Samoa Joe victory, I do think this is a comfortable CM Punk win. So yes, CM Punk retains onto the final match. So we now have the final match, which is the main event. And following on from the previous match that we spoke about, I'll talk about this. And based on what I said about Punk, I believe that this is an MJF win. Now, I feel like Punk has two specific money feuds to go into the future with. And that is the Elite and MJF, right? This is MJF versus Adam Cole. They've been doing a great storyline leading up to this. And I don't see MJF losing the belt here. Now, normally I wouldn't talk about the 0 hour or the buy-in or whatever it's called. But I believe that that match, the buy-in, which is the Ring of Honor Tag Team title match with Aussie Open, the champions facing MJF and Adam Cole, I believe that that match is directly linked to this one. Now, I'm not going to predict that match, but I think that that match directly ties into this and potential storylines going forward. They could lose the match and the frustration causes one of them, maybe Adam Cole, to turn heel. Maybe one of them costs the other the match and they end up blaming themselves, or the other person blames them. Or maybe they win the match and makes the title match or the result of it seem bittersweet, because whoever wins, they're like thinking to themselves, they've got like their own thoughts running through their head, or whoever loses has their own thoughts going through their head, and that's a potential story going forward. They could do a lot of stuff with this, but whatever happens, I think that it's going to be very interesting. I do believe though that MJF walks in and walks out of All In as the AEW World Champion. And that's the end of the prediction, guys. Let me know what you think will happen at All In. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out my other videos, and I've got some videos that will be on the way. Guys, make sure you love one another. Life is short. Rest in peace, Bray. I'll catch you guys in a bit.